Saskya, and desserts have always been my passion. I love trying new recipes, so today I'm going to make a cheesecake for the first time. My first step was to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a bit lower than normal since I'm going to be using a glass baking dish. Next, I'm going to crush the graham crackers for the crust. The best thing to use for this is a mortar and pestle, but if you don't have one, a glass and bowl work just fine. I'm going to crush them until they have a nice, even consistency like this. Now, I'm going to melt the butter. You can do this on low heat to be safe, but since I'm going to be by the stove, I'm going to have it on high and stir it to speed up the process. Once the butter is melted, I'm going to turn off the stove so it doesn't burn, and add the graham crackers. Then I'm going to mix it until all the graham crackers have a nice coating of butter. After this step, I'm going to use this to cover the base of my pan. Some people like to use a springform dish, but I'm going to use a glass baking dish covering foil instead. The foil will help me take the cheesecake out at the end. Now I'm going to set this aside and begin with filling. There are two fillings for this cheesecake, one with cream cheese and one with sour cream. The first calls for 400 grams of cream cheese, 100 grams of powdered sugar, 2 eggs, and 3 drops of vanilla extract. Now I'm going to mix until they're smooth. Once the filling is smooth, you want to add it to the crust. And you want to spread it out as evenly as you can. Now you want to put it into the oven for 20 minutes until the crust is firm. The filling should be a bit moist when you take it out because you're going to let it set for 20 minutes, and over those 20 minutes, it's going to continue to cook. Now, while this is cooling, I'm going to start the second layer. The second layer calls for 400 grams of sour cream, 40 grams of powdered sugar, and 6 drops of vanilla extract. Now you're also going to mix this up until it's smooth. Now that this is done, I'm going to wait until this is cool so that I can add the second layer to it. Now that it's done cooling, I'm going to add the second layer and put it back into the oven. I'm going to put it back in the oven for 10 minutes, and after that, I'll let it cool again until it completely cools, and then put it into the refrigerator for 8 hours. Now that the cake is done cooling in the fridge, I'm going to start the sauce. First, I'm going to put 55 grams of powdered sugar and 2 tablespoons of water into a pot. And stir, and it's going to be on low heat, and I'm going to stir it continuously. And you want to stir it until the sugar completely dissolves. Once the sugar completely dissolves, I'm going to add the blueberries. There's roughly 250 grams worth in here, and I'm going to turn it onto high heat and cover it for a few minutes. While this is cooking, I'm going to mix together 1 teaspoon of flour and 2 tablespoons of water. Once it's mixed, I'm going to add it to the blueberries. Now I'm going to turn it back onto low and mix it until the sauce gets a bit thicker. Now that the sauce has a nice consistency, I'm going to take it off the stove and I'm going to get the cake. Cheesecake always goes well with fruit, so I'm going to add some extra fruit on the side. Now that the sauce has cooled down, I'm going to add it on top. And voila, there's your cheesecake.